So I had to have a shot of my stray gun. I I have been thinking this for a while, but I never meant it as much as I do right now. As I'm sitting here, I'm on the verge of tears, and I don't know. I want to ask you guys, do any of you feel like me? I'm watching TV, and there's a guy that does videos. And he just did a video. He did some in UK. In this current video, which I can't bring myself to watch the rest of it because I'm getting very upset by it. He is filming in the Bronx. And I grew up. I consider myself from the Bronx because I am on the first street north of the Bronx. As a matter of fact, my block was split in half. If I walked to the back of my backyard, and crossed into my neighbor's yard, I was in the Bronx. So, things that happened, my social life was in the Bronx. All my friends were in the Bronx. Not in Mount Vernon. My friends were in the Bronx. I hung out in the Bronx. Things we did were in the Bronx. A lot of, I remember when I was dating my now ex-husband, we spent a lot of time in the Bronx Zoo. I'm so used to the Bronx that even though technically I have a Mount Vernon address, I consider myself to be from the Bronx. And I'm watching this video of this guy that does all these political videos. And he is showing that they renamed the streets in the Bronx to Muslim streets. And one of them, the street that he was using, was White Plains Road. I grew up 4 blocks from White Plains Road. White Plains Road, now understand, White Plains Road is a very long street. I just looked it up now because I knew it was long. I didn't know how long. I just looked it up, and it runs the whole length of the Bronx. All the shopping I did, most of the shopping we did was in the Bronx. And he's showing that the Muslims have taken over my old neighborhood. And he's talking to these Muslim people. And he's asking them questions like, in the Quran it says, if your wife doesn't behave, then you don't sleep with her. If she continues, then you can hit her. And he's asking this guy, do you think that's right? And this Muslim guy says, I don't know. I'd have to ask the imam, which is like their priest, equal to, sort of. And you know that they're going to say, yes. These people are walking down these women are walking down the streets of the Bronx in hijabs and burqas. I am heartbroken about what is going on in this country with these Muslims. How did they all get here? Who invited them? Who wants them here? And he's talking to this other guy and saying, So I feel like I need a cigarette, and I haven't smoked in 40 years. Um, he's talking to this other guy who's a Muslim, and he's talking about Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. The guy has a tattoo saying he supports Hamas. He's in front of this building that, I don't know if this is true or not, but they're saying it's supported by American tax dollars. And there's a big sign on this building that says no law enforcement, no government employees, nothing. No American employees are allowed in this building that is supported by American tax dollars. So he's asking this guy, would you want to see Hamas come into the United States? And this Muslim says yes. He says, it would be good for America. He says, America hurts and kills each other for fun. He said, Muslims don't do that. We love and respect each other. And I'm like, sure, there are some Americans that do that. Don't lump us all into that same category. Yeah, there are, but I'm shocked that they think a Muslim has the answer to society. They talk about respect, but none of that respect is directed or about women. And I have to say, and it's really a sad statement, I'm more than happy that I don't have a granddaughter. I'm more than happy that my line is going to die right here, if it means the total subjugation of women in this country. And I believe in our government. I believe our government wants to fight this. The problem is that leftists don't. You've seen it yourself. And this guy that just went back from the UK, he said he asked the people in the United Kingdom that same question. If you're married and your wife disobeys and you're instructed not to sleep with her, if she continues, then you beat her. And all the Muslims in the UK said, yes, that's acceptable. I don't understand. And you know what? And as a witch, I've met a lot of men that are gay. And I love my gay men friends. And these people hate them. They hate them. They hate women. They hate little girls. And they say that America would be more peaceful if it became Muslim. Forced peacefulness, which means the suppression of everything. As a contrast, I was just watching videos of British people, not Muslims, regular British people, a lot of them from England, but a lot of them generally from the UK, that come to America, and they say that one of the reasons they love America is this sense of freedom. You can dress the way you want. You can be who you really are. Nobody bothers you. Sure, there are some exceptions. No country is perfect. We are not perfect. But generally, this poor woman said when she walks down the street in the UK, well, when she came here, I guess she took her bra off because She feels like she doesn't need one because she's small and doesn't need one. She said nobody even noticed. But in the UK, people have something to say about that because she's not wearing a bra. If you want to dress weird, if you want to be weird, nobody cares as long as you don't overstep your grounds, your boundaries, and infringe on another person. Generally, that's the way it works, except for when you're hate-filled. Okay, I admit I'm hateful to KAM. I am, because I hate that woman because she supports this bullshit of Muslims and Hamas and all that kind of shit. But generally, I don't care. I love my gay men friends. I love them. And I am terrified for the future of this country. I am terrified. It is my understanding that they asked the mayor of New York, who's a Muslim, Mamdani, not to come to the 9/11 memorial. They don't want him there, and I think he's going to ignore them and show up. Because in hard times, it's like, okay, so this is an extreme example. If a person is hungry and you offer them bread and you offer them a meal, but that meal comes with conditions, if you're so hungry, you're going to take it. And that is what I think is happening in New York. I love New York. I really didn't even want to leave it. I didn't. If I could afford to live in New York, I probably wouldn't have left. And I don't really like living in Florida. To me, it's lacking in, maybe because New York is so unique and it's so free and so, accepting of other people, and you could be who you are and that kind of thing. And and I guess Florida is the same. I don't know, but I don't feel it in this particular city that I'm living in. I mean, it's a lot of old people. I don't even see a lot of young people. And I don't know, I'm just getting very upset. Could you imagine peace through Islam? Do you know what that entails? No freedom of religion. So if somebody wants to convert from Christianity to Judaism, they can't do it because there would be no Judaism. They wouldn't allow Judaism. You know what else they wouldn't allow? Witchcraft. They're not going to allow gays to live. They're not going to allow it. I see homosexuality as something they are born with. It's not something that they choose. I think that there are some phonies out there that choose it. But to me, they aren't real homosexuals. Real homosexuals are born that way. And that's okay. And as conservative as I am, I would hate to see my gay friends hurt. I would hate it. I would be so upset by it. I would hate to see my witch friends, not that at this point I have any left because they're all in Pennsylvania and I'm in Florida. Could you imagine? And they call that peaceful. They say it's peaceful, but it's peaceful because you're not allowed to be yourself. You're not allowed to be a witch. You're not allowed to be gay. You're not allowed to be a lesbian. You're not allowed to be a little quirky. You're not allowed, probably not even allowed to be an artist. Not allowed to speak your mind. Of course, they see it as peaceful, but it's not peaceful. It's just the suppression of people's personality and their wishes and how they want to live their life. And For them to mention that street, White Plains Road, when I grew up like 5 blocks from White Plains Road, and I'm so upset by watching this. I don't. And I guess the part that bothers me is that half of this country, half of these people, they don't see it because they don't see the takeover that is slowly happening. And in some parts of the country, rapidly happening. They don't see it because maybe they live in rural America. Maybe, like here in Florida, I feel safe. That's one thing I got to say about Florida. I feel safe here. As a witch, as a woman, I feel safe here. I think gays are safe here, and in spite of what people think that our government is conservative, I don't think our government is prejudicial against gays. I don't believe that. I myself am straight, but I don't want to see them lose what they have gained over the past generation or so. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see witchcraft be taken from us, because that will happen if these Muslims take over. And our government, while our government is fighting it, there are liberals on the left that support this. I have seen several women on YouTube convert to Islam because they're in love with this man. And I've told you before what happens. It's all roses and perfume on the honeymoon phase. And then when they get into it, they find out how ugly and suppressive and how hateful it is. So it's not peace that Islam brings. It is not peace. It is suppression. There's a big difference between claiming suppression because you won't let people breathe and accepting the fact that some of us will hate each other because we have the freedom to. I would rather vote for the freedom side. Because you know why? Because you always have the opportunity to change somebody's mind with freedom of speech. There is no options when you suppress people into believing that relinquishing their personality and who they are is suppressed. There is no options. And for years, even before this happened, see, I'm crying. I got a runny nose now. Excuse me. Sorry. Even before this happened, I always felt that America was one of the best places for women. And I didn't see that as necessarily something to boast about, because women are restricted for safety reasons. Here's a good example. When I was working, okay, I'm single. Okay, there's no man in my life right now, and probably never will be again. When I was working, I was talking with a friend of mine at work who happened to be a male. And I said to him, "Oh, I'm so tired. I didn't sleep last night. I had a horrible headache and I didn't have anything in the house to take." And he said to me, "Well, why didn't you just run out to the 7-Eleven and get yourself some aspirin?" So I said to him, this was 2 o'clock in the morning. Do you think that I feel safe at 2 o'clock in the morning driving or walking down the street to enter a 7-Eleven and buying aspirin? See, my goal was that a woman should be able to walk down the street no matter what the hour, no matter what the neighborhood, and feel safe. Of course, that was a pipe dream, and it's only gotten worse with these Muslims coming in. And what I don't understand is, why is it all of a sudden an explosion of these Muslim neighborhoods? Why? Now, what do they want here? Because they say they want Islam, they want Muslim to take over this country and the West. So at that point, what would they have? They would have the same crap they had in their country of origin. What do they have to gain from coming here and claiming it as their own? The audacity of these people to walk in a park and complain to somebody walking their dog to get their dog out of there because it's haram. It's forbidden. They see dogs as dirty, so they don't want to be around dogs. So they expect Americans to get rid of their dogs. I have a dog. I love my dog. I don't have a family. She's the only thing I got is my dog. Do you know how I would react if somebody told me that I have to get rid of my dog because it's haram? You know what? These fucking people better kill me before they ever try to put me in a hijab. They better fucking kill me, because I swear to God, I will stop at nothing to keep them from subjugating me. And every woman in America better have their goddamn ears at attention and their eyes focused on what is happening in this country. Because they're starting off in the bigger cities, New York, LA, Chicago. They're doing all this, but sooner or later, it's going to leach into the small town America, which is disgusting because, as I said, if you subjugate people, if you push them down, if you not let them be who they are, that is not peace. Just because there is, and you know what? I'm hoping that every angry black American tells these Muslims to go fuck themselves and get the fuck out of their country. That's another one of my griefs against these people. Black Americans that were here, that were slaves. This is their country too. They deserve a right to it. They deserve it. They've earned it. And I know that some black people might hate me because I'm white, but I got to tell you, I support black Americans. I totally do, because they are Americans at heart. They are Americans. And I hope to God that they will tell these, but you know what? I'm worried about that, because Africa is generally a Muslim continent, from what I know. Now, it could be wrong, but from what I know, it's a Muslim continent. American blacks are not naturally Muslim. They are Christian. So can you imagine if they took over our country? They would hate the black Americans that are Christian. They would hate them. They would hate them. They would hate us as witches. They would hate Jews. They would hate women in general and little girls. And you know what? I am scared for every female in this country, because you know what they do to women? I don't care. People don't like to talk about it. They brush over it. It's the fucking white elephant in the room. They cut their clitoris. Why? Because they don't want women to enjoy sex. Women have to be put in a burqa, because God forbid they show a fucking elbow, the man won't be able to keep his dick in his pants. So they hold women responsible for the irresponsible actions of a man in this culture, in this Muslim culture. I'm hoping every one of you women out there understand what's at risk there. You see what we do? It will be gone like that. They might not even make us live. They might not even allow us to live. Did you ever consider that? You bitch and complain about a witch or a tarot reader going Christian, but you better bitch and complain about any American woman going Muslim. You better pay attention, you better wake up, and you better start speaking up. I am on. It's like I start to, it's like I can't handle it. I start to break out in a sweat when I think about what's going on in this country. How women will be treated if we let them get away with this. Thank God, thank God, thank God. I have to tell you, I did not have much faith in American men. Only to the degree of their immediate circle, their mother, their daughters, their girlfriends, their wives. But thank God, it's the American men that are speaking out against this. American women, out to fucking lunch. I don't understand why. We are the ones that have the most to lose. And people like KAM supports Muslims. And yet, have all these women following her like she is God. She is going to lead you right off the fucking cliff. Because she sees them as oppressed. And she sees them as oppressed up to and including and up to the point where women in the UK and American women are subjugated and forced to wear a hijab and are beaten, and that's considered normal. Rape is nothing to these Muslim men. Nothing. They blame the women for rape. You watch the UK videos, they show just average women walking down the street in the UK. They are harassed by Muslims. Any woman that is not in a hijab, as far as they're concerned, is an easy target. Is that what you want? Is that what you want in small town America? Well, if you don't want it in small town America, you better stop it in New York, Chicago, LA, Baltimore, Philadelphia. You better stop it there. Or it's going to leach into your small town community. I hope to God that one of these fucking Muslims slit my throat before they force me into a hijab. Ilhan Omar, she needs to be deported. Right now. What's the other one? Felicia Ratib. I'm like, I had a drink now and I'm upset. I can't think straight, but you know what I'm talking about. She needs to go. She's got a freaking flag outside her office that is not American. That is her country of origin. You love your fucking country of origin so much? Get the fuck out. Every time I watch one of these videos, they creep a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. I want these people out of my country now. It's sad. It bothers me. It makes me cry to watch all these videos of these British people, Scottish people, Ireland, Germany, Poland, all these people that came to America for the soccer. They don't want to leave America. They love America. Those are the kind of people that we should be allowing citizenship in this country, not these freaking Muslims that hate our country, hate our flag, hate Americans, hate American women, hate American girls, hate Christianity. While I'm not a fan of it myself, I totally support them, because don't force me into making a choice, because I'd have to pick Christianity and Judaism. Although I don't like any of the Abrahamic religions. That's not for me. But I will support them if you pit it against a Muslim. What we do, so many videos on tarot and all that kind of stuff, you're taking it for granted. You better wake up. You better speak up. You better support the right. Because you know what? The left has gone off the fucking cliff. And they support Muslims. Even people like Van Jones, Bill Maher. Who else is, there's another really famous, what's that guy's name? I can't stand that guy. I think he's a brainless idiot. But I forget his name. But anybody that has two brain cells to rub together on the right on the left is moving to the right. Because the people on the left are going off a cliff, and they will support Islam. I want them gone. I mean, I don't know why we're wasting time going after Mexicans in this country. We should be going after these Muslims. Get them the fuck out. And you know what else makes me mad? These Muslim people haven't contributed nothing, zero to our culture. Nothing. Mexicans, at least, and people from Latin countries, at least they came here and worked. They helped build things. They worked in farms. They did things. They were part of America, even though that they really didn't want to be an American. I would rather have them than these fucking Muslims that come here, hate our country, and they just want to take it over. At least the Mexicans wanted to come here, make money, and go home. At least a lot of them. What this country needs is a great big import of Europeans. All of them from Europe. I'm talking Spain, Portugal, Germany, Poland, Ukraine, what else is there? Romania. Everybody from a European country that wants to migrate here should be given permission to move here and get these Muslims the fuck out of our country. I'm sorry, that's the way I feel. You like this? Because there are plenty of witches in Europe. You want this to continue? You better stop playing the game of these. Oh, well, this person used to be a tarot reader and now she's a Christian. You better forget that shit, and you better worry about Muslims. They need to leave our country. And you know what? I am so disgusted with them taking over our country that I don't care how it's done. I don't care how Trump would cheat, lie, and even murder. I don't care. I want them out of my country. End of story.